Good evening and hello, everyone. We'll get started at 6 o'clock, but I'm just going to wait until the people who are in the lobby have finished signing in, and then we'll get started. Thank you.
Recording in progress.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this special council meeting for September the 18th. I would like to advise you that this meeting is being live streamed, audio and video recorded, and shall form part of the record which will be retained in accordance with the town's retention bylaw. And if you'd like more information about this bylaw, you can get that from the clerk's office. So we have 4 planning public meetings tonight. So basically going to go through the preamble, the same order 4 times. And before we get started, I would just like to ask if there's anyone here who is here for the purposes of the short-term accommodation bylaw. Anyone? Okay, thank you. The reason I'm asking is because it is simply a housekeeping issue around some verbiage in the definitions, and I didn't want you to sit through 3 full public meetings and then find out that it was just a housekeeping issue about some verbiage in the definitions. So I thought I'd bring that up right from the beginning. So the 3 applications that we are hearing tonight are for information only, public consultation purposes only, and there'll be no decisions made here tonight. The 4th item is that one I was just speaking about, which is to correct the wording within 2 bylaws and is being recommended for council consideration this evening. So I'll now ask if Councillor Saunders could please provide the land acknowledgement statement.
The town of Innisfil acknowledges that the town of Innisfil is situated on treaty lands that is steeped in rich Indigenous history. The town also acknowledges that this land is a traditional territories of the first people of Turtle Island. It is shared between the Anishinaabe people of Beausoleil First Nation, Chippewa of Rema First Nation, and Chippewa of Georgina Island First Nation, and we thank them for the generations of stewardship. This meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people, and as settlers, we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. The town acknowledges the forced sacrifices that are the foundation of Canadian society today. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect with all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit.
Thank you, Councillor Saunders. I will now ask members of council, are there any conflicts or disclosures of interest on any of the items in tonight's meeting? Councillor Saunders.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On the first one for 3185 Arlington Street, it's just a notice that I have spoken with our Integrity Commissioner, and he said if the restaurant, the Cove Cafe, were to move down there, I am allowed to speak upon this tonight, but if it comes back to council, I will have to recuse myself at that time.
Thank you, Councillor. So the first, anyone else? I should ask if there's anyone else. Seeing none, the first application being brought forward tonight concerns a proposed amendment to the town's zoning bylaw for
Excuse me, Your Worship.
3185.
We need to approve the agenda.
Oh, I guess that would help, right?
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Could I please ask for a mover and a seconder to approve tonight's agenda? Councillor Constantine and Councillor Ices. Those in favor? That is carried. Now, we'll start with the first application being brought forward tonight. Concerns a proposed amendment to the town zoning bylaw for 3185 Ireton Street. This application is being received for information and public consultation purposes only. We'll start with a presentation from staff, and then the consultant on behalf of the applicant will be invited to speak on behalf of the application. Council may have a few questions or comments, and then we'll have an opportunity for public consultation where we'll hear from members of the public. All speakers will please have 5 minutes to ask your questions or express your comments and concerns, and then staff or the applicant will respond where possible. If we're not able to respond or give an answer to any of your questions tonight, when the staff report comes back to council for debate and consideration, at that time, the answers to your questions will be in the staff report. And the staff report will be available a week before the meeting. And if you've signed that sheet out front, you'll be notified when your item comes back to council. Now, the reason we limit your comments is to 5 minutes. As you can see, there's a lot of people in the room and we want everyone to have the opportunity. But if you have an added thought afterwards, anyone can speak for a second time to identify any issues that have not already been raised or to receive clarification for something. So once everyone's had an opportunity to speak once, if you have more to say after your 5 minutes, you can come up a second time. After all members of the public have provided comments, council will have a vote to receive the information. Like I said, we'll not be making decisions this evening. We'll now hear from our clerk, Patty Toma, on how public notice of this meeting was provided.
Thank you, Your Worship. Public notice for this meeting was provided to required agencies on August the 27th, 2024, and in accordance with the Planning Act, the notice was circulated to all landowners within 120 meters of the subject lands on August the 28th, 2024. Corresponding signage was also posted on the property on August 28th, 2024. Information and materials respecting this application were also posted on the town's Get Involved page.
Thank you, Clerk Toma. And there are some seats in the front. If you'd like to sit down, please feel free. Has any correspondence been received by Clerk Services concerning this item?
Thank you, Your Worship. One piece of correspondence has been received by the Clerk's office regarding this application from Beverly Nielsen and William Bradley, dated August 30th, 2024, expressing concerns about the proposed development and providing questions for clarification. As well, Your Worship, members of the public may provide comments or register their interest regarding this item during this meeting or until council makes a decision by contacting the clerk's office.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And members of council all received a copy of that correspondence as well. We'll now hear from Kirsten Morris, Senior Planner, who will provide a high-level summary of the application.
Mayor, Deputy Mayor, members of council, staff, and members of the public, the purpose of this public meeting is to consider a proposed zoning bylaw amendment for 3185 Ireton Street. The purpose of the application is to facilitate a proposed commercial development consisting of 9 commercial buildings and associated on-site parking by rezoning the subject lands from the existing site-specific commercial neighborhood hold zone, future development, and site-specific future development zones to a new site-specific commercial neighborhood zone to permit all of the standard uses that are permitted within the standard commercial neighborhood zone, as well as an apartment dwelling, a long-term care home, a nursing home, a retirement home, commercial school, and the existing sales pavilion. The application has indicated that the permitted uses proposed in addition to the standard uses permitted under the commercial neighborhood zone are not contemplated as part of the design of the proposal, however, have been requested in order to provide flexibility should any of these uses be proposed in the future in accordance with the official plan designation. So the subject lands are located at the corner of Lockhart Road and 25 Side Road within the settlement area of Sandy Cove and are blocks within the approved and registered Innis Village subdivision. The temporary sales pavilion for the Innis Village subdivision is currently located on the southeast corner of the lands, and the remainder of the lands are vacant. The conceptual site plan is shown on the left side of this slide, along with conceptual architectural renderings on the right. I won't go into too much detail about the proposed concept because the applicant will also be presenting tonight. However, the proposed commercial buildings have been sited towards the frontages of the streets, and on-site parking has been sited to the interior of the property. The applications will be reviewed by staff for consistency and conformity with applicable provincial, county, and town policies that are in place. This slide highlights the current applicable planning policies that will be reviewed by staff and the policies that are detailed in the current staff report on today's agenda for this application. However, when this application comes back to council for a decision, the new provincial planning statement may be in place, which replaces the current provincial policy statement and the growth plan. So the future technical recommendation report will provide an evaluation of the new policies and all policies in place at that time. So agency comments, Bell Canada has indicated they have no comments. Planning staff at the Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority have indicated they have no objections as the site is outside of their regulated area, and any technical matters regarding stormwater management and hydrogeology can be addressed at site plan control. Technical staff from the LSRCA have requested more information for the hydrogeological assessment and have identified that this will be or can be addressed at site plan control stage. And services have indicated that they have no objection to the zoning amendment and have provided technical comments to be addressed at the site plan stage. And then town development engineering have provided technical review comments regarding the functional servicing report, stormwater management, and traffic that will need to be addressed. We have received a few public comments to date with questions regarding the types of uses proposed, the proposed building heights, and whether there is consideration for any potential residential uses. Concerns have also been identified regarding stormwater management and drainage, as well as the traffic increase, and questions about the timeline for construction were also submitted. So in summary, the applications propose a commercial development consisting of 9 commercial buildings that range in size from approximately 279 meters squared to 1,858 meters squared. The development is proposed to be phased with phase 1 consisting of development of the north portion of the site and then to be followed by phase 2 for the south half of the site. The existing temporary sales pavilion is proposed to remain until after construction of phase 2. There are a total of 359 on-site surface level parking spaces proposed at the interior of the site in accordance with the zoning bylaws standards for parking. Access is proposed by 1 entrance from Lockhart Road, 2 entrances from the 25th Side Road, and 1 entrance from Ireton Street. And as noted, the proposed amendment permits all standard uses that are permitted in the commercial neighborhood zone, plus an apartment dwelling, long-term care home, retirement home, and school. However, those additional uses are not currently included in the proposal, but they've been included in the zoning amendment in order to provide flexibility should any of those uses be proposed in the future. For next steps, staff will review and consider all public, council, department, and agency comments received and report back to council on a recommendation at a future meeting. Notice will be provided to all who submitted written correspondence or who have requested notification of when that recommendation report will be returning. And if the zoning is approved by council A site plan control application will be required to facilitate the proposed development, which is delegated to staff to review and for approval, as well as approving any site plan conditions. And then a deeming bylaw will also be required to merge the existing blocks on the registered plan of subdivision into one block. There's my contact information. If anybody has any questions or comments they would like to submit, you can also see all of these supporting materials on the Town's Get Involved page. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morris. I regret to inform you that we are experiencing some technical difficulties and our live stream is not running, and it can't be started again without a reboot, which takes about 10 minutes. So I apologize, but we're going to have to recess for a few minutes. I'm guessing that if there's this many people who came here, there's 10 times as many who want to watch online, and so I would hate to go through this night without the live stream working. So my sincerest apologies, and thank you for your patience. Staff, could I ask, Council, could I ask for a mover and a seconder for a recess until 10:26?
10:26?
Sorry, 6:26. Sorry, didn't mean to give anybody a heart attack. Councillor Richardson and Councillor Zanella, all those in favor? That is carried.